So you meet a Japanese person. They smile, they chat politely, but when it comes to getting closer, they keep their distance. It's not your Japanese, it's how trust works here. My name is Sean and I help professionals who are working in Japan speak Japanese that people actually respond to at work, at home, and in daily life. Guys, I'm going to break this video down to 3 parts. First, the cultural reason why Japanese people stay distant, alright? I'll also talk about 3 common mistakes that foreigners make, and then what to say and do in order to build trust, alright? Step by step. Let's get started, guys. So I wanted to tell you guys before that I've worked with engineers, teachers, and HR people in Japan, and at first they were acting polite and very friendly, but still in Japan people were keeping their distance from them. All right, but once they made these small cultural changes, relationships actually started to open up and they started to make real friends. All right, so there may be parts in this video where I get a little emotional, but it's because it's based on, my friends and people's success stories, and including my father who came to the US. He came in the 1980s to Japan, and I've seen him succeed as well. So I may get a little emotional, but it's because it's based on real stories and I really want to help you. So yeah, let's get started, guys. Let's start with why people keep their distance here in Japan. Here's the key. In Japan, trust is built very slowly. Not through words, but through consistency over time, guys. And being friendly isn't really enough. People are very careful not to get too close too fast, right? And if you push, they pull away. All right, I've seen this happen in many cases with friends and family and people at work. They think that they're actually doing all right. They're presenting themselves okay. They think that people trust them in society in general. But if you try to go too close, get too close too quickly, they will go away. So the goal and the secret is to show that you respect their space and then let the relationship kind of grow naturally, all right? You kind of want to nurture that part. As a person who was born and raised in Japan, I can confidently say that in a good way and in a bad way, Japanese people, we wear a mask, okay? So we call it honne to tatemae. Honne to tatemae no bunka. Honne is your true self that you show in your private life. Friends or family or people who you love. We show our honne, our sincere feelings. And tatemae is the polite mask that you have in public spaces. So for instance, at work, you're tatemae, right? You're not showing your honest feelings. You stay polite. You don't talk about too much about family. You just stay polite. This is tatemae. So guys, I recommend you double check right now with me, all right? If you're trying to get too close to people who are in your tatemae space, like public space, for instance, it's at work or some kind of public community that you're in, they may not be thinking that you're a friend, like a real close friend, all right? So the goal here again is that to show that you respect their space and then let the relationship grow naturally again. You don't want to push too much because if you're doing that right now, stop. You don't want to do that. Just keep a little distance and then they'll come into from public life to private life, right? They're going to make that switch by themselves. You don't want to push it. In Japan, there's your public life, private life, and your secret life. Public life is where, like at work, like I said, right? You're trying to be polite with your tatemae face on, right? Private life, now you're drinking out with friends, right? You're going out to eat, you're hanging out on the weekends with your friends. This is your private life, right? Secret life right here, this is where a lot of girls are, all right? So like people at work, girls or like ladies that in general, they may be here, this is where they want to be, right? You probably don't necessarily want to be there, but at least if you want to have a good life and be respected here, go from public to private, all right? That's enough. I'm talking about just going from public to private. So let's move on to the 3 common mistakes that people make, all right? Number 1, you're still in your public phase, your tatemae phase. So like, for example, you don't want to ask them, kareshi irun desu ka? Like, do you have a boyfriend? This is too direct for early conversations, guys. It can make people uncomfortable very quickly. Another thing that I see a lot is you're pushing for after-work invitations too soon. For example, like, kyo nomi ni ikimashou. Let's go drinking this weekend. Or like, let's do that today. Let's do this next time. It sounds friendly, but again, we're still in our public phase, public life, right? It sounds friendly, but again, it may be a little too direct at this stage right now. And guys, this is a huge one. Using casual Japanese, we call this tameguchi. Casual Japanese to people you're not supposed to be using it to, right? And doing this like too fast, right? For example, 今日何してた? What were you doing today? Without using this or must. 昨日何してたんですか? Right? That's fine. That's a little more formal, so that's fine. But switching to casual speech too soon, it kind of makes it worse. Okay, they'll go from like keeping their distance to like running away from you. All right, enough with mistakes and what you're doing wrong. All right, I want to talk about solutions. Okay, so I'm going to talk about what to say or do instead. Okay, first I want you guys to start with safe small talk. All right, and this, like, when I say safe small talk, I mean like surface conversations, right? Surface level communication. So like, for example, how's work been lately? 最近仕事はどうですか? That's another word that you can use, right? 最近お子さんはどうですか? This is a little more like leaning toward the private part, but it's okay. No one's gonna hate you for asking about their kids, okay? At least if you know them, okay? This keeps things light, no pressure. I mean, like, compared to like, do you have a boyfriend? No one wants to talk about that. Okay, so keep it at like the surface level. Use safe small talk just to start. Okay. Also, you want to show consistency and patience. This is number 2. For example, if you start talking with somebody, you can end the conversation by saying, またお話できたら嬉しいです. I'd love to chat more again sometime. All right. This signals that you're not rushing for it today. You can talk about it next time because you don't have time today, or you're still in that public tatemae phase, right? This is a good one. And number 3, this part's big. I want you to show gratitude to people who you're talking to, always, okay? So saying things like, いつもありがとうございます. Thank you as always kind of builds that warmth and trust over time. So it's not like, it's not being too pushy. You're just showing gratitude. Thank you very much. Okay, this is very important. People who don't do this, I've seen fail. But just changing this, like after a conversation, after meeting someone who's in your public life, tatemae phase, just saying thank you and showing gratitude to that person. I've seen people who do this succeeded, okay, in the past with friends or family, people that I taught Japanese culture and language to. People who do this, people who show gratitude and say thank you, they succeed. So guys, even if you don't believe it, trust me, it worked with people, all right? This is very big. Let's talk about what happens when you do this, when you follow this plan, all right? When you start showing patience, everything changes. Japanese coworkers, neighbors, and even strangers start to open up because they see you as someone who gets the culture, right? It's not about speaking perfect Japanese. By the way, a lot of people do speak perfect Japanese. It's about emotional intelligence. So it's not about being a grandmaster of Japanese. It's about learning the culture first. Guys, I'll tell you one example. I knew a friend who spoke crappy Japanese, all right? He joined this speech contest. We call it speech contesto, for foreigners who want to speak in Japanese. So they would compete in a contest. They'll have their speech, right? So there's this guy that spoke perfect Japanese. He just crushed it. He crushed it. His Japanese was amazing, but you know what he didn't do? Like, no one liked it because he never bowed. He never smiled. He never said hello, like onegai shimasu, right? Thanks for having me here. Instead, that perfect Japanese guy, the foreigner who spoke perfect Japanese, my friend who spoke crappy Japanese but always smiled and also bowed. He was always bowing every time that everyone laughed at it, like smiled at him, right? He won the whole tournament. He was number 1. He was first place. And I taught him Japanese, but he still sucked, right? But because of his attitude and the cultural understanding, he always bowed. He always smiled, right? That's how he won. And that's exactly the same thing, not only in speech contests, but in real life. I get so emotional about this because I've seen it happen so many times, right? People start to like learn these grammar points and these like phrases. It's not about grammar, guys. It's about how things work here. And as long as you don't understand that, you're not going to have a happy life, right? But I want to say that if you start to understand it, you're going to have an amazing life and you're going to start to crush it. Right, so guys, I hope this video helped. If it did help you, please, it'll mean the world to me if you shared it with people, because including you and other people who want to learn, also my family, my father, there are a lot of people that you don't know that want to learn Japanese culture and the language. All right, so guys, if you want to take action, it's today. Start learning the culture, not the language, right? So thanks, guys. I'll talk to you in our next one. Bye-bye.